Hello viewers, here we are again. Last minute reviews but unexpected. This is a 2024 Fiat 500 1 litre mild hybrid. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? Welcome to Contingency Reviews. So, I'm up in the northeast at the moment. I'm actually in Hartlepool today, doing some filming, and it was much easier for me to get here if I flew up from Southampton Airport to Newcastle and then hired a car. I didn't know what I was going to get until the day itself, and they gave me one of these Fiat 500s. The lady did offer me a Nissan Duke, for which I'd had to pay extra money, but I didn't really fancy that, and there's reasons behind that view. You can watch another episode of Contingency Reviews where I look at one of those to find out why. But so yeah, the most basic level of hire car at the airport was one of these, and this is actually a really late 500. This is one of the very last of them made. I presume a batch of them have come over to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and they just sort of decided to use them. So we don't have really many modern features in this car that you'd expect in many others. We don't have a reversing camera, we don't have blind spot monitoring, we don't have lane keeping assistance, we don't have autonomous emergency braking as far as I know. We don't really have anything. We don't even have LED daytime running lights in this car. Really weird specs as well with these. This is just called a 1 litre mild hybrid, or MHEV. This is very similar to what the old Lounge trim was, and actually in 2021 I drove a 500 Lounge from 2009 with a 1.2 fire engine, but in 2020 they started to phase out all the other engines in the 500, just leaving this 1 litre 3-cylinder with 70 horsepower, and it's not very fast. Not to 60s, I think 13.7 seconds in this, and it certainly feels it. When you're on the sort of faster roads, it does struggle a bit to sort of keep up with traffic. You have to wind it up when your ears bleed. It's got cruise control. It's not immediately obvious when you first get in the car, as I found out earlier on, that the cruise control's there, but it is, and it's quite useful. One thing I don't like about this car particularly is the ride and handling. It's not nearly as good over the bumps as you'd expect it to be. It feels a little bit bouncy, which is quite surprising, particularly at higher speeds. And the steering. So we're in the city now. Let's put the city mode steering on. Ooh gosh, oh dear. I don't like that view. Is it? No. Oh, no. That's coming off. City mode steering is one of these things where it sounds like a really good idea, but in all the cars I've tried it in, you know, Corsas and Puntos and 500, I've never really liked it. I just don't get on with it. We haven't really got an awful lot of feel in the steering anyway, and that just removes more feel from the steering. It's very light. It weights up okay if you go through very fast corners, but apart from that, it's just not really the best steering. I mean, if this was an Abarth, I have driven an Abarth 595C. I drove one of those at the end of last year. It probably would be different, but this is just a standard 1 litre model, and it's not the most dynamic to drive. I think, to be honest, like a Kia Picanto or Hyundai i10 is better to drive than this, and again you get more equipment and 5 doors for either the same or less money, to be honest. But there's not much else really like this around, and this is the sort of end of an era really, where these cars just don't comply with a lot of the modern safety regulations, and so they're going to have to be discontinued. And it's a bit of a shame. I mean, these came out in 2008 in this country, and the platform they're based on, which is the Mark III Panda, that came out in 2004 over here, so it's a 20-year-old platform. So I'm going to have to do this part of the video in a supermarket car park, because I don't have an awful lot of time before it actually gets dark. And also the car is filthy because I've done gosh, I don't know, 150 miles or something like that since I picked it up yesterday morning, and weather is not great in the northeast really. It's very, very cold, so lots of road salt and things. I'll have to get that cleaned up before I return this car. So one of the very, very last of this generation of 500, registered earlier this year in 2024. This model's just called the MHEV or hybrid. There's no trim level with this. There also aren't any reversing sensors or camera or anything like that. There's actually not that much in the way of sort of what we would be modern equipment in this car. It's not got lane keeping assistance or blind spot monitoring, anything like that. Boot is about 185 litres. It's smaller than something like the old Volkswagen Up. Not really much a lot to say. Do we even get spare tyre? No, we do not. Puncture repair kit, and that's it. We don't even have any kind of way of putting that parcel shelf up and down. But of course, it's so small you don't really need it. This is where the Panda is just a little bit more practical than this, because the Panda is only a 5-door. It has a bigger boot than this. But yeah, the rear lights were changed in about 2015, I think, late 2015. We've got this sort of rear end. Apart from that, the car is very, very much unchanged from when they first came out in 2008 in this country. So very, very long production life for right-hand drive markets of 16 years. I kind of miss this car already in terms of they're not being made anymore, because what's replaced this is the electric version of one of these. It's nothing like it really, apart from being very small. I'm not so keen on those. Very kind of simple interior by modern standards. Actually, that's a really small screen. The earlier ones didn't really get anything like it at all. I think it's a 7-inch screen in here, but look at the bezel and that, it's huge. So nothing like the sort of things you get in an i10 or a Picanto, which are kind of the only rivals left. The Igo X is a little bit higher than this. Yeah, not much to say. It's costing about 10,000 miles. I don't think my second mission documents are going in there, but we will try anyway, because why not? Oh my gosh, really? Wow. I'm impressed, viewers. I better not leave that in there when the car gets returned. I better take that out. So yeah, that's good, isn't it? Nice big doors, getting in and out is quite easy. One thing I don't really like about this car, unfortunately, is the driving position. You sit very, very high up, and it's worse than in the Panda. So you get a lever for supposedly adjusting the height of the seat, but all it does is sort of move the sort of angle of the squab. It doesn't really adjust the height of the seat at all. It's fixed, so it feels very, very high. It's not the most comfortable car for long journeys, this really. Also, weirdly, the car has got cruise control, which is surprising. That it's really difficult to sort of work out what to do if you don't look at it like this. And of course, when you're driving, you can't be at that angle because you will crash. Electric windows are on here. This car's got a 6-speed manual gearbox. It is just a mild hybrid. This, it's not a proper hybrid like a Toyota Yaris or something like that. So can we? There we go. Weirdly as well, let's turn this stereo down, mute it, there we go. Mute, thank you. So we've got the Uconnect screen in here, and then we've got the same heating ventilation system that was in the original cars in 2008. It's actually really refreshing to see this. It's very, very simple. Heating, air conditioning control there, fan speed as well. Whether you want free for ventilation or not, and the direction of the air. Electric windows are on here, which makes it easier to convert the car from left to right hand drive. 6-speed manual. 2 USB ports down there and a 12-volt socket. Place there for sort of cup holder. There's that lever that adjusts the angle of the squab. Normal handbrake. Not all else. We do get a shade in this model here. This is very similar to the lounge spec actually it used to be, although this one's just called the mild hybrid or MHEV. Really confusingly, it says coolant, that's not the coolant level, that's the coolant temperature. I would have preferred it not to be a little sort of battery icon on the right hand side, which is how much you're charging the battery by, engine braking and things like that. I would prefer that to be the coolant temperature, but I don't know why it's been done that. Turn the cruise control off of the stalk here. There we go, that's off. Cruise control off. There's not a lot to say. You can't even, I mean, this says menu here, but nothing happens if you press that. Nothing happens if you press those either. So I can't find the trip computer on here. I'm sure it has one, but I just can't get to it, which is, well, annoying. Oh, so it's on here, sorry. There it is. Range, 324 miles, energy gain A, trip distance, things like that. Very, very, very basic thing here. Oh my gosh, you've got to cycle through a lot of things to get here, haven't you? Yeah. The coolant temperature is optional. Why? Why? Well, it takes forever. Anyway, viewers, about that. Little storage area here. Big door pockets, massive door pockets. I do like these interior door handles. I think they're quite nice, actually. Electric mirror switch had a ton of Stellantis products, all of them really. I'm not sure really you can sort of lock the doors with that. I'm not sure if that's really what it does. We have got the city button, which I don't like the city button, it just means that the steering is far too light. Just don't touch it. Has a light switch there. Then we have the fog light switch there. So that's Android Auto, connects to my phone there. I'll just pull the phone out actually so you can see what the rest of it does. Not really an awful lot to say. There's media in there. There's Uconnect, which is, I don't know, other things, audio settings. There's actually a trip meter in here, which I've sort of forgotten about. So you don't have to fiddle with this tiny little stalk on top of here. You can just use that as well. But for a car in 2024, this looks very, very, very old-fashioned. It's not a massive issue. I mean, it doesn't matter particularly, but you can see why they are replacing this now. You can't get things like blind spot monitoring, you can't get adaptive cruise control, you can't get lane keeping assist, and that's probably what's meaning of this car is just be taken off sale because you can't fit all these things that legislation now demands that you do, which is a shame. Right, let's have a look under the bonnet, shall we? Actually, no, we should look in the back because Mr. Manning from Matty's Cars is watching. Right, Mr. Manning. Oh. This isn't going to be good, is it? It's not going to be good. Actually, it's not too bad. Obviously, someone's not really sat in here very much because we've got belts in there. We'll just undo that. I mean, there's no chance of you really getting many people in here. It's very, very, very cramped in here. We've got side airbags. I'm pleased we've got this panoramic roof. It doesn't open or anything, but I'm pleased we've got it anyway. It's just not very big in here. I don't want to spend any time in here really at all. I think I'll get out pretty soon, but at least I can save you in the back. And there we are, Mr. Manning, another one for your collection. There you go, a little 1 litre 3-cylinder Firefly engine generating 70 horsepower with the mild hybrid system. Unlike the old fire engines, a little bit more room in here than even the 1.2 would have been. You obviously got the twin air previously. I'm not going to talk too much about those because, well, we're different opinions about those engines. But yeah, it looks easy enough to operate things. Can't remember what the start-stop battery is, presumably underneath the passenger seat, something like that. Normally they are. Can't believe this car doesn't have LED daytime running lights either. It's got fog lamps and separate daytime running lights, which are the ones in the middle as opposed to the ones at the bottom. Sort of the last car to be like that. Anyway, we better get on. I've got to go to the car wash with this and put some fuel in it, so that's what we'll go and do. I mean, it's nice enough. I mean, it's very, very economical. I think, I don't know what I've got, but I've probably got some ridiculous fuel economy. Let me just have a look actually what I'm actually getting. So let's see, energy gain and then all this stuff on here. Trip distance. We actually have average consumption. There we go. Do we have it? Average is 54 miles per gallon. Bear in mind, there's a lot of motorway driving in this, and it's not really a motorway car particularly, but that's actually really, really good. I'm very impressed with this, and I've hardly had to put any fuel in it as I've hired it. So, yes, I mean that's good. Sort of a bit sad about this. The drive's just not very good, particularly in here. You feel very, very upright. It's not really very natural in here, but at least it's got a little petrol engine in it. It's not an electric car or anything like that. You can buy a Fiat 500 electric or 500e. I have driven one of those. I driven one of those about 3 years ago, but I think I still prefer this. And it's a shame that all this sort of modern legislation has meant that this car become outmoded, and Fiat can't necessarily replace this with something that's the same size. I think the replacement of this is going to be a bit bigger, like the Panda replacement is, because they're the same car, really. And that's a shame, because it's all right. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more, well, last minute videos, I suppose.